Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about the past. We're going to talk about what it means to look back at your relationships and romanticize them. They're the best, they'll always be such and such. This is going to ruin the relationship that you have with the person and is going to destroy your future relationships. You like how I use those big words, ruin and destroy, doom and gloom. And that's what happens when you're looking backwards and you're romanticizing the past. We're going to talk about why you might do that, how it shows up in your current relationships, and what you can do instead. Are you ready? Let's go. It's really easy to romanticize the past because times were easier, things were simpler. Perhaps when you were a kid, because the relationship wasn't difficult. There wasn't many challenges and many life experiences that you had that would pull you away from each other. It was as simple as you sitting down next to little Timmy and realizing you have the same lunchbox and you're geeking out over the connection that you have right there. And you want to hang out because both of you like Knight Rider. Whatever, So it's easy to look back at those relationships and say, look, it was so easy. It was so simple. It was so fun. Of course it was. You have no idea what's going on in the world. You don't have your developed views about your life and your experiences. You don't have the values set. You have whatever your parents' values are. And you're developing your own view of the world. When you're that age, you don't really have much, right? You don't really have much that's going to separate you. You sit in the class together, you have similar experiences, and how you feel about those experiences really unites you. And the problem that happens is when we start growing and we start having our own experiences in life when it pertains to other humans, dating other people, our orientation, the kind of music we like, the clothes we wear, the religion that we decide to reject or adopt, the foods that we decide that we want to eat, the lifestyle that we want to live. We separate from those people who don't have those same values. And we were like, man, how? We might be like, how? How did it happen? Because the last I checked, we were on the same trajectory. The last I checked, we're going to do everything together. We're going to be so cool together. We've been through so much. Like you might even grow to a point where you're in your teenage years and you're having these really difficult times and you have each other and you work through it because you have each other. And then you go on to your college years or your young 20s and you're out there experiencing life and one of you get married and the other person is like, well, I'm not getting married. This is not the thing I want to do. How did these values develop? What happened? Now you're all on a different path. Now they're spending so much time with their partner and you're not. And you're the third wheel, or you're looking for a partner. You've got series of relationships that don't work out, and they're married and they've got a life with kids, and a little more time passes and you don't have any of that. And you're looking at these people like, how did you get so far apart? They no longer want to do the same things that you want to do. They don't have the flexibility or the freedom that you have. And you're looking at the relationship and you're like, how did this happen? I just wish things were where they like they were before. I want them to be so simple, like when we were in high school together. Why can't it be this way? Why can't it be this way? And what we do is we're romanticizing the relationship that we had at that time. We're looking back at it, trying to recreate that kind of thing. And we do ourselves a bit of a disservice. There's a quote by Lao Tzu that says, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you are at peace, you're living in the present. So when we're constantly looking at the past, we're depressed because we're looking at what isn't now. And this really steals the focus on creating a relationship that you could have with this person. It's not going to look exactly like the past. It's not. whatever's happening with them in their life, they've developed a whole new set of values, and so have you. You developed a whole new set of values of things that you want. Maybe you did pledge to get married at the same time and things just didn't work out. Maybe you got a huge promotion, decided that you would put off having kids. Maybe you decided that you just wanted to travel the world. Maybe you discovered that you weren't capable of having kids. Something happened, something changed, and you can't go back to what it was. But if we still focus on what it was, we'll never be able to repair this future because we're not even living in it. We're not even having conversations about what we can do, how we can connect, where our values do meet. And we're really focused on what we don't have from that relationship instead of creating something new. And so this is how it robs you of the relationship that you could have today. But man, isn't it cool to just be looking back in the past? And remember the fond days of just having zero responsibilities or little to none responsibilities, whatever it was that connected you together, just living in that space. Sure it is. But when you open up your eyes, it's not that. It is your reality today that you're not connected and you're not talking to each other. And if you have a desire to create anything new, you have to confront the reality that it is. Have to confront the reality. Who wants to do that? Nobody. Nobody. It doesn't feel comfortable. I don't want to wake up from my dream. But you confront the reality. We don't want to do that. We feel uncomfortable doing that because we really like what we had before. And if we confront reality, if we really see all the things that have changed, we may not notice, or we may not be able to find a value that we both share that we can latch on to. And it means that we have to let go. And that's why we don't want to do that. Or we could live in the future. Anxiety is Lao Tzu mentioned. Anxiety about, okay, what if it isn't? What if it won't be? What if we can't? What if we'll never? And we tell ourselves those things. But if we can just pull ourselves into the present right now and see how it shows up, how our relationship have changed, it really is worth looking for that value that brought you together and tracing along the things that you could probably connect on. Because otherwise, you really won't spend time together. You really won't appreciate each other if you don't know why you're having conversations or why you're trying to connect with each other. Because I get this question a lot too, as it relates to, former friends. I see them on Facebook or I see them on Instagram. They reach out to me. Should I talk to them again? Well, you want to go and check and see if you have a similar value that you can anchor onto that might pull you into the future, that you can be within the present time. But if you're constantly talking about what has happened in the past and are fixated on the good old days and you can't seem to understand each other today, you can't talk about the future and what you have envisioned and have them understand, and that they can't talk about their future and have you understand, then you're heading in opposite directions. If you wanted to look at past relationships, you would only look to discover that. That's what you're looking for. So as we talk about these relationships, how it shows up is essentially just like I said. It shows up if you notice that you're in the spot when you're not spending time together. And when you do spend time together, you're not sure what to talk about, or you're only talking about things that have happened in the past. This is how it will show up. This is how you know that you're romanticizing a past relationship that you have with somebody. And so what can you do instead? Well, of course, facing that reality of what it is. I mentioned focusing on the values that you have. So you're looking for people to match you. We're always looking for people to match us. We're not looking for people to match with. Like, if you think about it as in a game of Go Fish or some cards. You have cards in your hand. That's a good analogy. You have cards in your hand that you're dealt, and they have cards in their hand that they're dealt. And if you're looking to match with them, if you're looking for them to match with you, rather, if you're looking for them to match with you, you would look at your hand and you would say, hey, do you have this? Do you have the Ace of Spades? This is my vision. This is my journey. These are my values. I'm holding them because it's what I value. Do you have it? And wait for them to say yes or no. And if it's important to you and they also have it, then hooray, you can connect. It's going to be easier for you to connect. If they don't, then it's probably going to be more difficult. If it's important to you, check another value, check another card in your hand. I have the Ace of Hearts now. Is that something you have too? No? Well, dang. It seems like we don't understand each other. But you are the standard. And so what we don't want to do is go around looking at our former friends and trying to peek into their hand and notice that, whoa, they have the Ace of Clubs. Let me just fix my Ace of Spades and try to make it look like a club. Let me just change one of my cards so that I can match their values. It doesn't work. So essentially, what you want to do, what can help you instead in the future or creating these relationships, is get really good at understanding what you want and what you will and will not tolerate. And perhaps be real about the fact that your friend can no longer understand you with these bigger, deeper, important things like the Ace of Hearts, the Ace of Spades. But perhaps, they've got that Six of Clubs and you also have a Six of Clubs in your hand. Oh, that's something that you can catch up on every once in a while. It's not super important, but wow, it's nice to relate to. They can understand you today. Maybe you can talk about the similar movie interests that you have. Maybe you have something like that that's small. Like maybe you have a little hobby that you like to walk. Whatever it is, you can connect on those things. And if you want to save your relationship, you recognize that it has changed in so much that you're not talking to each other every day. You're not talking to each other a week. You're not talking to each other every month. You're just talking to each other whenever it strikes up, whenever that Six of Clubs comes about and you're like thinking about that person. Oh, maybe it'll be a holiday. Maybe it'll be for their birthday. If that's the kind of relationship that you have and you want to keep it, then make peace with it. Make peace with that. Just please don't go romanticizing those relationships in the past. Be in the present and build something great for the future. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. 1, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries or not holding up space for you or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com and I might just read your letter out loud. Okay, so this person says, I have a toxic friend. I need advice. I'm a 19-year-old female and I have a toxic friend. One of the main things in our friendship that bothers me is the fact that she always has to be right. Anytime that I prove her wrong in any way, shape, or form, she will get mad at me. She's very spoiled. Her family is super wealthy and she never lets me forget that. I'm on the not so wealthy side. So when she talks about spending money, it's like it's nothing. It makes me uncomfortable. And she never pays back. Even though she can literally use her dad's credit card, she still owes me $68 from 4 months ago. I've sent her multiple Venmo requests and she ignores them. She is the most self-centered, egotistical person I've ever met. She's obsessed with herself. There's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. I need her out of my life. I'm a walking doormat and I need to stand up for myself. But every time I try, she makes me feel like I'm the bad guy. And one last thing. Even though there are a billion more flaws I could name, she makes me jealous on purpose. Example, I have epilepsy and I can't get drunk because of it. It's a seizure trigger. Everyone knows this, and I'm fine being around my friends when they're drunk. But she's always talking to me about how fun it is to be obliterated and how she feels bad that I can't experience the feeling of being wasted. She picks on me, she hurts my feelings and gaslights me whenever I express my feelings. I'm so fucking done with her. How do I end this friendship? I want to say that this person is 19. I do not condone drinking at 19 and all that stuff, legal images, legal ages, all that. So they didn't mention what country they're from, but the way it's written, it looks like American English. Listen, 19-year-old person, I recognize that, wow, it's difficult to be in this situation. I can't believe I'm going to be outraged with you too. $68 and she's rich? Like, what? She shouldn't be borrowing money in the first place. Like, never. You got all the money in the world? I've got no money for you. In fact, I'd be trying to get some of her money, like, buy me stuff. But okay. I'm done being outraged at that thing. It just doesn't seem like, she's, I don't know. I can see your frustration with her. I can see that frustration. She's not a very good friend in the sense that she's doing all these things and you feel frustrated with it. What I'd ask you to do, because you're trying to get rid of her, you're like, yeah, I want to get rid of her. What is a possibility if you just stop talking to her? What happens if you just stop talking to her, stop asking for your money, stop answering her messages, stop just responding to her period when she says anything, stop being in the same spaces with her, because you're trying to let go of this person, and it seems like there are a bunch of people that she is around that you're also around, because your friends being obliterated, it's really not a great experience to be obliterated anyway. She picks on you, she hurts your feelings, and she gaslights you. Then there's something that keeps you continuing to talk to her. And she's got these little hooks in you. Like, well, the money is a hook. Like, you're connected to her because if you want that $68 back from her, you're going to have to listen to her, or you're going to have to ask her and beg her, and she's just going to say no. And she's going to continue saying no, and you're trying to get what you want, and she's not going to get it from you. You're going to try to tell her how you feel about things, and she's not going to listen, and you're going to be frustrated with the fact that she's not listening to you. In this situation, I know I'm an outsider looking in with no kind of emotional connection with this, but the move is to stop talking to her. Of course, like, I would be like, let's stop talking to her. But we go through this process of like sharing how we feel about our experiences with them. We have to do that in a clear, concise manner to let people know how they're impacting us. And I don't know where your emotional state is right now, but everything here is worth sharing with her. Well, maybe not everything, because I don't want you to insult her and to say that she's self-centered, egotistical, she's obsessed with herself. and she's cocky. I don't want you to say those things to her because that's going to shut her ears off, or like her ears will just kind of fall off, and she won't be able to hear anything that you want to express. Because at the end of the day, we want to be understood. People want to be understood. Like, I want you to know, friend, how I feel when I'm around you. And the hope is that when we share how we feel about our experiences with them, that they will recognize that they're hurting us, and they will stop. And they will stop. So the first step, I know I went straight for the jugular and was just like, cut it off, just stop talking to her, because it's such an emotionally delicate situation. But if you could, share a feeling with her, like, this is what you did, and it's unacceptable to me, and so I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, do something like that. But if that is just absolutely something that you cannot do, it's really difficult to form the words to make that happen, just recommend cutting off and getting some space. She's going to be fine. If you think about how much you want her to know how much she hurt you, she's not listening. She's not listening. And so just know that she's not going to hear you. And in your current state of emotional frustration, you won't be able to deliver it in a clean, concise way because you're pissed. We're rightfully so, with all this stuff happening. Rightfully so. So, I'd be looking around to see who else is associated and attached with her, and just be like, cut them off, spend some time by myself, try to figure out what it is that's important and interesting to me. You're 19, you're able to do things with a bit more autonomy. You can go places and find other people to talk to. You can find groups that are interesting to you, do some pottery, do some painting, take up cooking classes, be in places with other people who are going to treat you well, or at least have similar values. This person does not, right? This person doesn't. So I hope that helps. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media, and I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.